Welcome, SAO survivors. Okay, taking the skis off was clearly a mistake here. Uh, that was unexpected. But hello, and this is part 4 of my sinking Q&A session. That was a bit unfortunate. I was really hoping the snow was a bit more solid here, but what can we do? The Q&A has started, my hair is a mess. It's really cold, it's really sunny and nice. But when it's sunny and nice, it's often very, very cold. So we'll see how long I can answer. So, as usual, I'm starting with... Actually, hold it right there, future Gamerturk here. This part of the Q&A was recorded back in December 2025, but I never had a chance to edit it until now, February 2026. While I personally highly expected an SAO appearance at Anime Japan in March, by now it has been confirmed that neither SAO nor Demon's Crest will be at Anime Japan. As such, any comments about Anime Japan are pretty much 2 months outdated here, so keep that in mind as you watch this episode. And starting with your actual ones. Jose Garcia Ivan asks, well, they have 2 questions. First one, do you think that Kirito one day will encounter the virtual consciousness of Kayaba? He has already encountered him multiple times, at the end of Fairy Dance is when it begins, but I'm assuming you're not talking about Star King because they're already just hanging out together at the moment with Unital Ring, but otherwise, I truly do believe he will eventually encounter him one way or another. It's kind of inevitable. If you were to ask me about any guesses how that might be, really no guesses at all, because neither Kayaba nor the Star King copy of Kirito has appeared ever since the voice chat log that is at the beginning of Unital Ring 1. So we really have no idea where they are going with their own intentions. They are currently just observing as stated during that voice log. As for your second question, why can YUNA come in her old avatar in War of Underworld? That is mainly because, as you can see, at the beginning of that scene, Yui does recognize a connection coming from the SAO backup servers that's under Kamura's control. That's where YUNA generally resides. It's a bit more complicated per Cordial Chords. You may want to watch my video on that. It's now with Eiji as well, not just within that server. However, YUNA is the one who can establish connections from within that server because you need that within access. And practically, that's basically what happens. Both YUNA's original account and Eiji's original account, both from SAO, reside within that server. So what YUNA does is basically log them in with those original SAO avatars instead. Does that make any difference? Not so much, because technically they are low-level players, especially since Eiji dropped out of the front lines early on and YUNA just died early on. But for cosmetic purposes, that was pretty hype moment for the anime, if you ask me, even though we had to spend so much time explaining why it was in fact possible through extreme technical coping shenanigans. But it is possible, and that's how it is, in simple terms. With that, I am moving on to what I've been dreading for 3 parts now. Neono has asked like 20-something questions, and I have avoided it back in part 1 and then went over to YouTube for my part 2 and part 3. We're in part 4, it's about time I answer these. So, lightning round, Neono edition. What do you think of the Demon's Crest anime adaptation, and how could it affect SAO? I have no opinions on the Demon's Crest adaptation. I have been saying that's what their plan was ever since Demon's Crest was being pushed so hard with Volume 1 and Volume 2 coming out so fast in light novels. It's finally here. I'm happy that my very obvious prediction has landed, not that anyone cares. But other than that, I have no opinions about the anime adaptation. What I think is going to happen is Kadokawa, if Demon's Crest can become even like a mediocre mainstream series that they have plenty of, they will still stick with it, because even the mediocre series, like not the top of the line anime like Oshinoko or Dungeon Meshi, the average ones, they still easily appear in their top 10 portfolio by the sheer nature of being an anime. So even if it's a small bit of success for them, they will keep on going because that was their intention for the past half of a decade at this point. How could it affect SAO? Well, if Demon's Crest can become like a mainstay anime, Reki will have to focus on it more because it's a first-party IP for Kadokawa that they have both the light novel and the anime license for. That will become their main focus. World is gonna get pushed back even more because it doesn't even have an anime at this point. And SAO, that will become the #2 priority because, you know, that's still a huge series for A1, even that is dropping slightly, sure, but it still has the name to keep on going, even though the ground I'm standing on no longer does. So let's try moving a bit over here. In the meanwhile, that's basically it, really. You know, we're probably not gonna get slower than one SAO book per year. We may just end up going with something like either or in the case of Unital Ring when we are talking about it per year, but I still don't think we'll go that far. I think Reki will just be given like full free reign of whatever he wants to do, which I feel like he already was in the position of. That's why we're getting such bloated stories without much control. It won't have a huge negative effect aside from what's been going on already, because the push is already happening. And if it becomes successful, that push is not going to change all that much. It's just going to remain as a push. After the new SAO movie, how do you think they'll proceed, given that Unital Ring isn't finished and it'll take some time? Progressive needs to proceed. Progressive needs to proceed and conclude Floor 9 at the very least. Otherwise, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere in Unital Ring. The book, because Unital Ring can't progress without us knowing what happened to Kismet back in Progressive, and the Progressive adaptation cannot be done properly without that L4 concluding properly as well, so that they can take all that information, condense where they need to, omit where they need to, add context into the visual medium where they need to, and all those kinds of stuff. So the entire bottleneck right now is the Progressive light novels, and oh my god, instead of stepping Floor 8, we stepped back on Floor 4. Technically precedes the L4 campaign, but come on now. Without Progressive actually concluding the L4, we're not going anywhere. Maybe they can keep going with more anime original movies. I am not sure whether they will want to at this point. They may just put SAO entirely on a back burner. AGGO, probably not gonna get more adaptations. The season 2 has been pretty down low. On Japan it was fine, in the West it was completely gone. So I am not sure what they can do without the main series progressing in terms of an anime production. Like, we're in a bit of a tough spot. I would still love to have some OVAs coming out at this point. Make use of those side stories. We have beautiful side stories, tons of beautiful side stories. Like, simply put, create like those 30-40 minute TV specials. I think that's a wonderful thing they could do. I don't think they will ever do it. How do you think the Unital Ring arc will end, and how will Interintelligence War begin? Well, Unital Ring is basically the seeds blooming, the seed that was planted by Kayaba, by Kirito all those years ago at the end of Fairy Dance. So, with the seeds blooming, I feel like we'd have that flower moment at some point. You know, currently everything is coming together, and at some point it's just gonna explode and create somewhat of a disaster scenario. I don't want to be too specific. All I'm gonna say is just look towards World for an answer. I'm pretty sure you would have, Neo, no? But for everyone else, look towards World. There is a huge VR disaster that's being talked about. People coming together under a same goal, yet failing just the same, following a single player. And I feel like once that happens, Underworld's gonna get connected at some point as well. That's gonna be the catalyst for everything completely breaking apart. And we're gonna hear that first AI genocide that ever happens, that's gonna push AI into a legal terrible zone, and we're gonna get that World. People think World is a bad ending future of SAO, a variant. I'm thinking, oh my god, I feel like this can actually happen. Number 4, how do you see the future of SAO as a brand in... I read that as bland because that's how we've been going for the past 2 years. And what do you think will happen? This question has already been asked, and you know, I answered that. Even in your previous question about Demon's Crest, I answered that, and I keep talking. I don't want to bore people more. What do you think of the future console games after we answered that in previous Q&As as well? Are you worried that Reki might not finish SAO due to health issues or something else? I don't think Reki will be stopped by health issues. I think he will keep gradually progressing. My worry is that his vision he surely has a vision, but sometimes it comes across he's just winging it and he keeps writing whatever comes to his mind. I feel like more so than like health issues specifically, like the time we're given in this world is not enough to go through with what he's trying to do. That's how I'm gonna put it. You know, it's a bit sad, and every world has its end. That's what makes every world beautiful. The problem is Reki is not planning his worlds carefully enough in consideration with the time we are given in this world. So even if everything goes perfectly, I don't feel like progressive without skipping floors cannot even reach floor 25. I don't think Axel World will ever end. That's been trying to end for a while now. I don't think SAO will properly end within the next 10 years still. Valid question, but no answer from me, aside from the fact that, you know, our time in this world is limited. Do you think Aniplex A1 knows what they're doing with the SAO brand and have any future plans? I think they know exactly what they're doing. The problem is, I think I mentioned this in the previous Q&A as well, SAO is not run by an SAO account. It is run by Aniplex, the main account, I mean the SAO Anime account. It is run by Aniplex, who are solely focused on the SAO Anime and nothing else, thus give very low priority to everything aside from the anime. And Aniplex specifically, they don't just have SAO, they have a huge portfolio that probably a single marketing department is tending to, like every single bit. I always compare things to Freeren, because Freeren's PR is absolutely beautiful, but the fact of the matter is Freeren PR is run by Freeren PR. They handle everything regarding Freeren. There is at least one person fully dedicated to Freeren, which makes a huge difference, rather than a single person being in charge of like a ton of different accounts, just trying to keep up with everything. They know what they're doing. What they are doing is planned and according to their books. The problem is what they're doing is kind of shit for us fans. That's the end point of it. Everything is planned, everything is calculated, and that's just how it is. 8th question. Do you think Reki, now that Demon's Crest anime is coming out, will focus even more on releasing the novel volumes, given that there are only 4 and more are needed for a second season? Very likely, very likely. I still think Demon's Crest will launch with a 1-core 12-episode season and cover the first 2 light novels, so I feel like they will have like 2 more volumes for their second season already if they want to go with a continuous production right afterwards. But as I said, the focus will be completely shifting towards Demon's Crest if Demon's Crest anime becomes even a modicum of a success for Kadokawa. Do you think SAO will become the new Axel World and Reki will put it in second place? Yeah, those are redundant questions. I'm way too far ahead of you, man. I'm covering all of those with a single question. Do you think Unital Ring is an arc that shows all the progress Reki has made in recent years? It shows all the changes Reki has had over the years, and it shows what we're getting with less constraints imposed on him by Reki and the publishers in general. I feel like he is a much better author. Yes, if you, I say this very often. If you go back to volume 1, I literally can't even read those stories. They are very, very rough. I don't want to blame volume 1 too much on that, because volume 1 is an extreme example. It acts more of as a pilot episode as well, that's trying to give you a taste of everything that the series has with those impact points. A lot of things are exaggerated and all those kinds of stuff, but still the writing style may be exaggerated by the translation as well, because, you know, that's Stephen Paul over 10, 15. When did volume 1 come out in English? So translation was quite early as well on that front. It's a combination of both contributing to it being rough to read. So yes, Unital Ring, it is a lot better in terms of writing, progressives as well, but also with less constraints. We got so much more bloat. Our narratives are not focused properly on what they should be about in general. We have too much going on, too many mysteries, not a single proper solid hook to keep you going, because everything is just a mystery. It's a change, and it's a culmination of a lot of things. It's a change in culture in general. The values and what's accepted, what's liked has changed dramatically in the past 10 years alone. Reki has changed and grown. It's a brand new story written from scratch, not adapted from web novel. So many different factors. So the answer is yes, but do not narrow it down to solely Reki being Reki. It's a team effort always. Do you think 26, 27 could be happy years for SSAO fans? 26, we're probably getting a movie. So if you call that happy, then yes, absolutely happy. But other than that, the future is not bleak. Bleak is the wrong word. The future is for now highly bottlenecked for content. Let me put it that way. So can't exactly go with happy overall. What do you expect from the plot of the new movie? They said anime original. I'm not gonna pull random content out of my ass. So two stuff in my mind that I always repeat. One, either the rebellion of the four empires, that is the spark that ignites the entire rebellion that flows into Unital Ring as well. Moon Cradle is inconsequential. It's a 1 week period that is a personal murder mystery and nothing else. It is not highly consequential for Unital Ring. We need rebellion of the four empires, and it's a huge event, all quadrants, full-scale war within the human empire. Let's have that. Let's create content for that and run with it. And with that, we can go into some Unital Ring teasers. And please, give us a Unital Ring teaser. You had your chance at the end of War of Underworld. You didn't. When the camera was just panning down at the end of credits, you could have easily panned down to the Norlangard villa, showed Eolyne turning up after the explosion of the abyssal horror as if he has sensed something. That would have been your killer teaser that will keep people going for 10 years, even if you don't have a new anime. You should have done that, and now do it with the movie. The second option is floor 50. Monumental floor, big disaster. Kirito gets the elucidator. He gets it as a drop there. So just do floor 50 if you really want to sell more Aincrad nostalgia. In which way do you expect the new movie open doors? That's exactly what I answered as well. What are your wishes for the answered? Is that why you have so many questions? You basically have the same question 3 times in a row. When do you think SAO Games will start using Unital Ring characters? I wish immediately. Like, we have 7 volumes of Unital Ring. We have plenty of characters, plenty of interesting characters as well. Tease them. But the fact of the matter is, the games probably don't see them as marketable characters right now. That's less about wanting to use them and more about light novel readership being such a niche group. That's what it comes down to. If something starts boiling in regards to an anime, that's when we'll start getting them, because the anime is going to push that, oh, Unital Ring is coming, and then games are going to jump onto it with, hey, we have this Unital Ring characters. Are you excited to learn more about them? Please play our games. That's how they're going to tie in at that point, even though I wish they would have just done it immediately and have some future content for fans. Do you think Unital Ring will revolutionize? No. What do you expect from Echoes of Aincrad, and if it's really a mobile game? I think I answered that in a previous Q&A. How long do you think SAOIF will be still around? As long as it comfortably sits above that 50 million yen per month number in Japan, on iOS specifically. That gives us a very good and trackable trend, and my hand is fucking frozen at this point. What could revitalize the SAO fandom and brand and revive it? Fandoms are weird nowadays. It's tough to admit, but sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing. And you know, you have to experiment a lot to get things right, to see what people like, and the interest is moving so quickly left and right. I feel like a brand, like a full-on SAO brand, has a lot more resources than I do to create the interesting content. But you know, it can't be corporate. That's the main thing. If you want a proper social media presence, that is the biggest factor right now for those modern brands, then you have to have a human controlling things. Of course, oversight, I completely understand having corporate oversight. You don't want to step outside of the boundaries, that is a given. But like, have a human there. Don't have algorithms decide what content or when to produce. Don't just limit yourself to having collaborations. Have an SAO PR account. Not Aniplex running an SAO Anime account. Have an SAO PR. Same as freelance PR. Do what they're doing. And the person that is in charge of the account has to know their thing about SAO. Don't put a master marketer there who knows nothing about SAO and just grabs the popular things. Put someone who knows and cares and is passionate about SAO in charge of that account. That's what you should be doing. That goes for you as well, Bandai Namco. Don't just have an SAO Games account that is being run by one person who's doing 10 others, who is basically only charged with scheduling posts that Japan has posted and you were able to translate because it... I'm genuinely frustrated about this because one mistake, two mistake, you know, it slips by every single day. Like, if that kept happening, I would just hold on for a second, look back and think, hey, why is this happening? Right now, I'm a single person running my own account and I cringe for half a day when I share a stupid mistake. Half a day. And I am inconsequential. I don't affect anyone. It is just me and my own prestige. Are you happy with what you do and your journey with SAO? I am not particularly happy. The high time has passed, and naturally the amount of high quality content I used to produce and enjoy, it's not getting as many eyes, and you know, I still try what I can do, but first off, I'm working now, so I don't have time to create those high quality content, and secondly, you know, when the SAO series is having such a lump, there's no point of me trying to push it, because this is not blaming anything, by the way, but nobody else is pushing it either because it's at a low period. And when there's no hype, you know, I miss doing proper high quality content. Like, this Q&A is still low quality content, technically speaking, minimal editing, me just here talking and answering your questions. It's nice content, but it's not high quality content that I am otherwise known for. And of course, due to my this year starting to work and having little time, I almost completely switched over to Twitter and Facebook. A lot more light form content, mainly photos and simple marketing material. It is still fun, but the reason I'm not happy is that I really enjoy doing the high quality content. It's just I don't have the time for it now, and it doesn't quite pay off with the amount of effort put in. So at some point I do want to return to that. And that covers everything Neono had. Lightning Wolf asks, who do you think Eolyne is? What is the truth about him? This is gonna be spoilers, obviously, for those who have not read anything about Unital Ring or have not reached the Underworld part yet. So skip to the next question if you don't want any spoilers. Otherwise, I am answering now. I feel like Eolyne is a failed copy of Kirito trying to recreate Yu-Gi-Oh! By following the same path Professor Shigemura did to recreate YUNA. I also think that is the most reasonable way to go about it as well. I feel like it's just a coincidence he looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a bit of a slap in the face. It is Yu-Gi-Oh! Reincarnated is also a bit of a slap in the face, because those are extremely random and out of nowhere, whereas Kirito trying to recreate Yu-Gi-Oh! Based on memories, especially because he knows something similar has been done with YUNA, I think that is the perfect way to go about it. But he realizes after some time that, hey, this hasn't quite worked out, hey, this isn't ethical, hey, I shouldn't have done that, so memories wiped, given to the Herlentz family for safekeeping. In my opinion, that is the most reasonable thing that could be done, and I think it's a nice way to go about it, because Eolyne now exists and Reki is pretty much cornered by his existence. Whatever happens, one side of the fandom is gonna be mad, so I think the most reasonable way that makes sense is that one over there. Azure Wraith asks, I keep wondering why we haven't gotten an SAO anime adaptation in the years. Did Alicization kill SAO's drive due to poor reception? I don't think it did. Mainstream Alicization still did quite good. It's just that SAO is generally trending downwards, much like 99% of the series that last this long. It has taken quite long. And we did get adaptations. We got AGGO 2, even though that was kind of thrown out of the window. We got the progressive movies, which were, again, really great for what they were. And we are now having a new movie. So I don't quite agree with the question as well. Alicization kind of killed the series for a lot of old fans, really soured the mood. That part I will agree, but that's pretty much it. Next one, Shine Tsuboy asks, do you think the current Kirito from the novels is proud of his Aincrad self, the Black Swordsman who was a beater? I don't think so. I think that's always gonna be a bitter memory for him. He's never properly going to embrace that side, even though he did momentarily here and there in Alicization in desperate times. It also needs to be reminded that he wasn't particularly embracing that side, but more so the desperate times are where that beater persona has been created in the first place. So those desperate moments just bring out that persona rather than him accepting being that Black Swordsman person. So I think he's still not proud. I think he still has issues. I think it still comes with a lot of painful memories for him. But nice question. Nice. I like that. Next question, also by Shine, asked as a separate one. Thank you, actually. That makes it easier for me to see rather than creating a thread. How did Hiro, the protagonist of Fatal Bullet that you named Hiro, has influenced Kirito and the gamers? I don't think he has influenced Kirito at all. If anything, everyone influenced you and gaslit you into making you believe you were pretty much exactly a Kirito copy. You've been on my channel for quite some time. You know my opinion about the Fatal Bullet OCMC. I think that was a terrible execution of an original player character. Everyone is just constantly speaking for you and trying to gaslight you into making you feel like you're Kirito. What a waste. Next one, do you have any idea why Sumeragi disappeared after the Game Wars? 1, he's a male character. 2, he's not a very popular character. 3, Lost Song already has 2 heroines that can be included, unlike some other games that only have 1, so another can be slotted in here and there. And last but not least, he's more of a 7 simp. And to be frank, especially for worldwide audiences, but also somewhat creepy in Japan as well, like it is to that extent. So I feel like Sumeragi is purposefully a bit forgotten on that front, just to get rid of that. Even though his gamer persona, like whenever he challenges Kirito, I really love that side of Sumeragi. So it was a bit of a shame. But that is where I'm gonna wrap up, because in 10 minutes my bus is going. I need to catch up to it. I'm still on the top of the mountain, like 4/5 above. So we will continue with more questions from Shine as well as other people. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you have any questions, go to my Twitter and ask on my original Q&A post. I keep quote tweeting it. Please, you need to ask on that original one, because that's where I'm sorting by chronology and just reading one by one from the oldest. Thank you very much and stay cool.